What it do, YouTube? It's SS, and I'm back with another video. Well, I guess now I am back with another video. I know it's been a long time since I dropped a video, but it's been a long time, and I haven't dropped one since I do believe when I hit Legend last season. That was on the last day. So we are kind of a month into this season, and I was trying to make this team work out. I originally had A9 on it, but I couldn't make A9 work with this team, and I finally ended up putting Jellison on it. And ever since I had Jellison on it, I have been going on a menace run. I'm talking so crazy. Today I went 18-2 with this team on Twitch. If you do want to go watch it live, make sure to follow me. It's in the link in the description if you do want to follow me on Twitch to watch them happen in real time. But not only that, I did run it for the first time yesterday, and when I ran it yesterday, I went 22-3. So this team is absolutely really good. I know my elo's a little bit low, but I still believe that this is a very good team. Um, so we do have, and if you guys do like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, especially subscribe, because I have noticed that 90%, over 90% of the people that do watch my content are not subscribed. So if you could really help me out with that, I would really like it. I would really appreciate it as well, because I am trying to make the channel grow. But anyways, as you guys can see right here, we actually do have a good lead here. They're going to swap out into a Medicham, and I'm going to go into my Jellicent. This is really good for Jellicent. We're hardwalling it. I like to keep Gligar for the last to close out. And since I have no reason to bait here, I'm just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. They threw an Ice Punch at me, and I do believe this is another Ice Punch, so maybe they have Dynamic Punch or something. I'm not too sure. Kind of makes sense with them having Talonflame and Azu in the back, or Azumarill. So now I'm gonna go straight Shadow Ball here. I'm expecting them to shield, but they don't shield, which is really good for me. I'm actually gonna shield here because I know that I can win with Dunsparce, and if I can just get this Azumarill out the way, they do end up shielding there, and I'm gonna go ahead and shield as well. No, I don't shield. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball. I am at the Shadow Ball. I am expecting not to shield. They don't shield, which is fine. They do get like 2 bubbles, and I'm gonna come into my Gligar here, and I'm gonna try to catch. We do end up catching, so Gligar does not have to take this Ice Beam, and now I can go commit to the farm down, and I'm at 2 rock slides here, and this Talonflame is gonna be saying goodbye because they know that we're at 2 moves and there's no point in them shielding unless I would go for the drill run, but I don't know why I would do that. And now we see a core breaker here. Well, kind of a core breaker, right? Because these drill runs are not really doing anything, and the rock slides are resisted. Obviously Jellison doesn't want to see it, but we're gonna see what it does here. And I'm actually able to get to another drill run before they get to the power whip, which is really good for me. I don't want to CMP them, so I am not going for the CMP because I know they would win it, and if I do, then that's a way to deny me deny a fast free move, because we are 3 turn versus 3 turn, and at this point, since I shielded, I expected them to shield as well. They do end up throwing their energy, and now I can go into Gligar here. And I actually thought about shielding, but I was like, you know what? I think I have to let it go through. We're able to get the farm down. Let's see what they come into. I'm expecting. Um, no, this ain't the battle. I do go for a bait thinking that they would shield because I am at the dig, but they don't go for the shield, which I should just full send it. Makes sense. And I did make a mistake there, but now we're going to be able to catch here. The Shadow Bone, it is going to do a lot of damage, but they're staying in. And now I'm going to go ahead and get to this Surf. I do throw right away because I do want to get this Pokemon out the way. And now, because I did that, I am able to get to this Shadow Ball right before they are able to farm me down. They do have a lot of energy. I can safely shield this since I do have a shield. And now I need to get to the dig. Can we get to the dig? We get to the dig on CMP, and we're gonna actually be able to win this game. So I did make a few mistakes there by not going straight for the dig, but we ended up capitalizing and winning. So now we're gonna see a very good lead for us. And Noctowl, you typically don't see Noctowl. This team is weak to Noctowl, but because we have um we have Dunsparce. Dunsparce does really good up against the Noctowl, and now we're gonna see that they swap into their Umbreon. I can't go to Jellicent, so I'm gonna instantly swap into my Gligar. And now at this point, I do believe I'm gonna shield this, and I'm not sure if they start lagging here or what, but because they were lagging or whatever, I am going to be able to throw this aerial ace, which is going to be enough to KO. They come back into their knockdown, and at this point, I'm going to start throwing out these aerial aces because dig is resisted, and I don't want to be throwing digs at this knockdown. They do throw, but right before I get to my move, which is really good for me. And for some reason, I don't know how that this is CMP. I don't know if I lagged the turn or something, but either way, since it's CMP, they can't catch, but they still end up catching on a Stunfisk, and this is a resist. No, not Stunfisk. It is a Diggersby. My bad. And I'm expecting that I do end up living this, so I do end up farming up to the next Rock Slide just in case I do need it, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw right away. This might not be CMP because of the one turn swap, and it's not, so I can go ahead and let this go through because they're most likely running Hyper Beam, or even if they're running Fire Punch, they're just gonna go for Scorching Sands. At this point, they do end up shielding, recognizing that they kind of need to shield, but not really. But either way, they probably shouldn't have shielded if they really wanted a chance to win. But either way, I am able to get this move off, and now they're gonna come back into the knockout. I just need to get to the surf. We do get to the surf. I am throwing on bad timing. Usually you don't want to throw on bad timing, but because I needed to get the move off, so just I can put it in range for this rock slide, and now we're gonna combo play and we're gonna be able to take that game. And now we're gonna hop into the next battle. We're gonna see Dunsparce into Talonflame. Once again, this is really good for us. We'll see what they want to do. They're staying in, and I'm like, okay. I'm gonna throw what I believe is on good timing. Might have not been, but either way, I'm expecting them to go straight for the Brave Bird. They do go for the Brave Bird. They end up swapping into a Greedent, and I'm gonna go ahead and let him throw this move here, which is fine with me. Then I'm gonna go ahead and throw a Drill Run just to make it a little bit easier for my Gligar to beat this spammy Pokemon, this spammy Greedent. And now they're gonna go for the crunch, which is fine with me. And they do end up getting the debuff, which is not good. But either way, I am at the dig. I do get the dig off, and they're gonna go ahead and let it go down, hoping that I would bait, but I was not baiting. And here, I think I could have made it to the dig, but either way, I go for the aerial ace. We do end up getting the shield, which is good for me. And at this point, I can actually just go into Dunsparce. They do end up swapping out, trying to catch a drill run, I'm assuming, but we weren't even at the drill run, and now I can safely come into my Jellicent. I can shield this crunch. They do end up getting another debuff. Okay, nice. But either way, I'm at the Shadow Ball, and we're gonna go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball, and we're gonna be able to take that game. And now it was at the last game. I think that was the last game. We do go 5-0. So I do believe we go 5-0, 4-1, 4-1, 5-0. So like I said, this is a very strong team. It got me back up from the 1700s all the way up to 22. And I will be running it tomorrow on stream. So if you do want to come watch the team in real time, link in the description. Go follow me on Twitch. And now we're going to see somewhat of a bad lead because obviously, the Diggersby is going to be outboking us, and the drill runs don't really do anything. They're hitting for neutral, so only thing I can do is here is keep spamming out these drill runs, and now they're going to go ahead and throw another Scorching Sands. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw them bad timing just because I do want to get my move off before they get their move off, and they go ahead and throw right away, which is fine with me. I don't know if they were expecting a shield, but they do have Fire Punch. And since they have Fire Punch, I know that my Gligar can wall everything here. If they had Hyper Beam, obviously it would be a lot worse situation. But since they only have Scorching Sand and Fire Punch, this is really good for me. But they come into a Swampert, and this is looking really bad. So I'm going to go for the bait because I do have a lot of energy. I'm expecting them to shield because they do want to go ahead and KO my Gligar. Now we're able to actually get off this dig, and I swap out, and we actually catch the Hydro Cannon, which is really good for us. Now I'm going to go ahead and farm up. They come into a Bastiodon, and I'm going to go ahead straight for the Surfs. See what happens here. They're going to no-shield, which is fine with me. I get to another Surf, and We're gonna see if they want to shield here at this point. They do end up shielding, which is fine with me. I'm gonna go ahead and shield as well. I can't let my Jellicent go down because of Swampert, but either way, I do believe that Gligar up a shield would be able to be okay up against the Swampert. And they just end up forfeiting they top left, which is a nice good game for us. And now we're gonna see Swampert in the lead. I'm not a big fan of Swampert when it comes to Dunsparce because Dunsparce will lose in the zeros, and pretty much I'm pretty sure in every single shield scenario they do outpace us, which is not particularly good for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. And then they snipe us with a Medicham, and this is not looking good because they do have energy on the Medicham, but I do come into my Gligar, and I'm gonna go ahead and shield this. It is the Ice Punch. I do want to save some health on my Gligar, and now I'm gonna go for the Aerial Ace. They do end up shielding, which is good for me. Now I'm going to try to catch the Ice Punch because I knew that they were going to think I was going to go for CMP, but I didn't want to go for the CMP. I actually ended up swapping out. Now at this point, I can overfarm. They just now got to the Psychic, and Surf is going to be enough to KO, and they're pretty much core broken by this Jellicent, which is really good for us. So they get to the Gligar, send out the Gligar. I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. I'm expecting Swampert to come back out. It is out. I'm going to go ahead and throw right away once I get to it on bad timing because I do want to go ahead and try to get my clock to come back out. The clock is up. So now we're going to be able to throw the aerial ace, and at this point they know it's over because we have our up shield and we have a very healthy Gligar. So now I wasn't too sure what I should do there. I go into Gligar, and they're gonna come into a Hypno. I'm expecting them not to shield this, but they actually do shield, which is okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw another move here. The next dig, they do end up shielding that, so now they're down 2 shields, but they're gonna be able to farm me down. But I do get to an aerial ace right before, so maybe if I baited, I would have definitely, maybe if I would have went straight aerial ace, maybe that was the play. But either way, I'm hoping that they don't have focus blast, and guess what, they do have focus blast, so they do end up focus blasting us. And at this point I saved my shields for the Surf Edge and whatever else could potentially be in the bag. So now they end up swapping out into a Stunfisk, I do believe, and I'm at almost back-to-back serves, so I'm gonna go ahead and farm over here. I do throw on good timing because I know that they need to throw an Earthquake, and for some reason I don't know if they didn't know I was at the move or not. But yeah, they overfarm, and I'm actually able to KO their Stunfisk, and now we're gonna be a. Oh, I thought I cut this out a lot better. Apparently, I did not. But yeah, now we're gonna see Dunsparce into Altaria. This is a very good lead for us, but the Dragon Breaths do end up adding up, and I'm hoping that they don't catch, but they do end up catching, which is not good for me. But either way, and I probably should have swapped out instantly, to be honest, because that could bite me in the butt. They could, it might end up biting me. But either way, I am sending out my Jellicent, and now we're just go straight for Shadow Balls. I don't expect them to shield, and now they're gonna go for another Play Rough. I don't shield because I'm expecting them not to shield. I go for the Surf, hoping this is enough, and they're actually at the move here. And I thought that they were gonna go for CMP, so I thought they were gonna throw their move, but they don't end up throwing their move. So I could have actually farmed it down, had a Shadow Ball for this Altaria, and but either way, that's fine. And they end up catching again. This time they catch on the Stunfisk, which is fine with me. So that's okay. And we're gonna get to a drill run now. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the drill run. They do end up shielding, which is good. And I try to catch, I wait a second and try to catch the Earthquake here, but they end up going Rock Slide, holding out on their energy, which is really good for them. Now at this point, I can let this go as well. I'm going to farm up a little bit extra energy, and we're going to CMP on the dig. They do end up shielding. I'm going to go ahead and shield as well. I know that their Altaria is going to come in, so I need to get this aerial ace off. I need to swap out. I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. hoping that I can live this. It is just the Sky Attack. It is not the Moonblast, so we're going to be able to live it. I go ahead and throw the move. I was expecting them to live with a little bit of HP, but they don't. But either way, I'm still able to get to this drill run, and I do believe this is CMP, which is the best case scenario for us. Since they CMP'd us, I'm going to go ahead and let this go through, but they no bubble it and get one free or one mud shot. And we're, as you guys can see, it's almost a timeout. We almost go to timeout with I'm like, what? We almost go to timeout? Okay. Well, we actually end up hitting dig on CMP. So grass types. Grass types you could argue that are kind of bad for this team if you don't have Gligar on it. As you guys can see, Superior is very tanky, especially Superior, because you have to go Rock Slide. You can't go Drill Run like Venusaur. Venusaur is a little bit more manageable, but Superior is a little bit more trickier. I'm expecting them to shield since I shield, and I'm going to go ahead and throw the next Rock Slide. This should be enough to KO, so they do go for the shield. They end up swapping, and I get to a move, and oh, I remember this game. If I would have went to Gligar, I would have won. And because I don't go to Gligar, you will see. On spoiler alert, you will see why. But yes, I'm gonna be able to throw the Shadow Ball here. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. They cycle boost me, which is fine. And I'm expecting them to come into the Superior, but they don't come into the Superior. They come into their Azu. So I should have just did another fast move. I would have got to the Shadow Ball. And I'm not able to throw the... I was thinking I could make it to the Shadow Ball, but I'm not able to. I'm going to come into my Dunsparce here at this point and come Drill Run. And I'm hoping that they don't have Ice Beam. But, unfortunate for us, they do have Ice Beam. And I'm just going to concede the game. So if I would have went... If I just would have went Gligar into Deoxys, defense Deoxys, I would have won that. But now we're going to see a water lead. And I'm like, okay, I don't really like this because, well, Politoed is very spammy. I think it's 4-4-4 for each Weather Ball with the mud shots. And I'm expecting I can live this. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. And I'm going to go ahead and throw right away because I want to force a shield off of them, but they end up no shielding, which is fine with me. I'm trying to get to the drill run, but no new mechanic for us. They end up coming down to a Licky Tongue, and at this point, I'm gonna go straight for the Surf here because I do want to chip it just for my Gligar here at this point. I want to save my Jellicent so I can end up winning this game. I'm just gonna go. This is a silly bait because I should have just went straight for the dig. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through because I do want to save my shields just in case. And now I'm going to be able to get to another aerial ace here. We're going to see what they want to do. They end up shielding, which is fine with me. So I'm going to go ahead and shield as well. But at this point, their clock is going to be up pretty soon. The clock is up. I don't make it to a move. I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. It is a power-up punch. I'm going to bank a move. I'm going to switch out. I know this is a Psychic, but I can't shield. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go through. And I'm expecting them not to shield, thinking that I'm going to go for the bait. So I go for the nuke. And because we go for the nuke, I am barely able to make it to this Surf, which is going to take the shield. And because we have a move on our Gligar, I am going to be able to tap it, under tap it, and take this game. So quite a few mistakes I made here. Could have played it a little bit better, but we do end up winning the game. As you guys can see, even with mistakes, you can still win. And here's this. Okay, spoiler alerts. This is the second loss of the game. After this, we will have no more losses. And I expect them to actually go for the extra move. I didn't expect them to go for the CMP here. But since they do go for the CMP, I was trying to get the move off before they could debuff me. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be able to actually get to another drill run, which is fine with me. I think that was new mechanic this time. And I'm going to go into Gligar. I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. I know they're going to debuff me. And then they come into a Pelipper. I'm going to go ahead and catch the Surf here. Not the Surf, the Weather Ball. And since they're down shields, I don't expect them to shield. I'm going to go ahead and shield this just in case it is the Hurricane is not the Hurricane. I don't expect them to shield here since they're down shields. They don't. They come into a Swampert, and I make a huge mistake here. I make like 3 mistakes here. I should have never overfarmed here because if they go for the Earthquake, then I do get KO'd here. And that's exactly what ends up happening. And then I make another mistake here by going with CMP. And since it was CMP, I have to shield. And now I'm expecting them not to shield, but they do shield. And I'm scared. I don't know how much energy they have, so I do throw after 3 mud shots. And because of that, we're actually going to CMP on the breaking swipe, and Haxorus is going to be able to take that game. So I did make like 3 mistakes there, but either way, it is fine. Now we're gonna see Basti into Dunsparce, and I didn't expect them to swap out like that, but they do, which kind of makes it easier for me. I'm gonna CMP them on the play rough. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. It is the play rough, and now I'm gonna build up energy here. I'm gonna try to CMP them again. I do CMP them. I'm expecting no shield, but they do shield. I'm like, okay, they shield. I'm gonna shield as well. And now I'm going to over farm here once again. I want to throw right before they get to their next play rough or whatever move they're going to throw. And because we actually do that, they actually shield the serve, which is pretty crazy. We're actually able to make it to another serve. And they don't let us get to another serve here, which is fine with me. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. It is the Stone Edge. Come into Gligar. At this point, they realize that this game is over. And there's nothing that they could do, so they end up top lefting for us. Now we're gonna see Gligar. Gligar is not really good for Dunsparce. The reason being is because since it's part ground, it is neutral with the rock slides, so you can't hit it with super effective rock slides since it is a flying type. It is also a ground type, but they do end up shielding, which is kind of crazy for me. And now I'm gonna go ahead and go for the rock slide again, and they do end up no shielding this time. I'm expecting them to go for the aerial ace, so I no shield, and because of that, I am actually able to make it to another rock slide here, and they're gonna be able to farm us down, which is not particularly too good for us, but either way, that is fine. I'm gonna come into Jellicent. I'm going to try to catch the dig. Did we catch a dig? We caught the dig, which is really good for us. And they have an Azumarill in the back, but because they are down a shield, I am hoping that I can somehow win this game. I'm going to shield this. It's probably an Ice Beam. It is the Ice Beam. I'm going to farm up a little bit extra energy here. I'm going to go straight for the dig again because at this point, I'm expecting them not to shield. They don't shield, and at this point, I'm going to throw them bad timing. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the aerial ace, hoping that they don't shield, but they do shield. And because my clock is up, I'm actually able to catch the Ice Beam, preserve health on my Gligar. They come out into a Sableye. And at this point, they thought I was going to go for the CMP. I'm not going for the CMP. And I can actually throw one more Hex for sure. I don't know how much energy they had, but I'm going to do one more Hex. I'm going to throw the Surf. We're going to be able to KO the Sableye. They come into Gligar. This is going to be enough to KO. We're going to be able to farm down. At this point, my Gligar just needs to farm down their Azumarill, and we're going to be able to take that game. Okay, I do remember this person only because of the team. Once you guys see the team, you guys will be like, oh, okay. This time, I don't expect them to catch if they didn't already swap. So, typically with a team, when you see Basti in the lead, you can expect 2 certain Pokemon in the back. Well, at least one, and that is Medicham. So I don't know if they expect me to have some type of ghost. I go for the CMP here, and see what they want to do. They do end up shielding, which is fine with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. It is the Stone Edge. Here's the Medicham that I was expecting in the back. And because I'm expecting there to be a Shadow Vic, I'm going to let this go through. Shadow Victory Bell. I'm going for the straight nuke, the Shadow Ball, because I'm expecting them not to shield. They don't shield. And as you guys will see, I did make the prediction. And because we overfarmed, we're able to get to this Shadow Ball, which is going to be getting the shield. And now since we got the shield, we're going to be able to CMP on the Aerial Ace. I'm going to shield the Leaf Blade. Probably didn't have to, but that is fine. We're going to be able to KO um, this Shadow Victory Bell. And since I had the move banked on my Dunsparce, I just swap out for the combo play and take that game. And I do believe this is another 4-1. So we do have another set. This is 4 sets. Taking my time. We get a licky tongue. So yeah, if you guys are liking the battles, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. The team is pretty good. I really like the team. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually a couple variants that I've ran before. The Dunsparce, Jelly, and Sableye. That's another team that I enjoy as much as well. But now we're gonna see Quagsire, and as you guys can see, it looks like Quagsire can actually beat Dunsparce in the zeros. So I am not liking this. I do get to another drill run because they are throwing on bad timing, but maybe that's because they don't want me to catch. As you guys can see, I do get a free roll out there. I'm going to go ahead and shield because if I shield, they might shield, right? I'm expecting them to shield. They do shield, which is good for me. I go for the CMP, hoping that they don't. Well, I knew they were gonna throw right away since they've been throwing right away, and this is fine with me. I'm gonna go ahead and come into my Jellicent, try to get this farm down. But they do make it to a move. I'm hoping this is just a mud bomb, but it is the Stone Edge. And now I'm going to do 3 hexes and then catch. Expecting them to throw the mud bomb. It is the mud bomb. And guess what's in the bag? Ice. And I knew it was ice because they're weak to grass, so they need an ice, right? Oh, excuse me. And this was looking really bad for us, but they end up swapping down to Skeldridge. I don't know how to say that Pokemon. Um, and I technically did not have to actually do that extra hex because I was already at double. I didn't know I was at double surf. Since this is CMP, I can safely shield up. Even if it's an avalanche, that's fine. I'm gonna be able to KO this Frostlass with the surf. Now we're gonna see Sableye. It's a shiny Sableye. I don't see no purified or aura around it, so it is not purified. So it's running probably Shadow Sneak or Power Gem most likely, and Foul Play. So I can let this go through because I know he's not gonna return me. But they come into a Bastodon, and I'm expecting there to be a Medi in the back. I'm gonna bank a move. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. Questionable, but since we do have another answer to Medi, and just in case it is Medi, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my move here. I get to another move, and I'm like, are they going to farm me down? They do end up trying to farm me down. They double shield and farm me down. But because I banked the move on Dunsparce, and I know that Dunsparce wins CMP, I just go for the CMP and deny all their energy that they just got. They come into the Medicham, and at this point, I can safely shield this since I have 2 shields. It is a foul play. I'm gonna go straight for the Shadow Ball. Uh, Not knowing if the Surf would be enough to KO, I just want it out the way. And at this point, they know that it's over, and we're gonna be able to take that game. So we've seen a lot of what's it called, Bastodons, and for some reason, I don't know why they swapped out, but they swap out. And I'm hoping I win CMP. It really depends. I'm thinking it depends on IVs on the Dugong. If they have a really good one, I'm pretty sure that you win CMP. But if they have a bad one, then they win CMP. I have had battles where they do end up winning CMP. I'm expecting them to go for the icy win again. But because I was gonna shield either way, we do end up shielding the drill run. I'm gonna go straight for Rock Slide here. They don't shield, which is fine with me. They're gonna come back into the Tropius most likely, and I am pretty debuff here at this point. So the rock slides are not doing as much as I want them to do. And I'm gonna go ahead and rock slide again. We're getting it pretty low. We got in the red, and because it's in the red, I'm thinking I can farm it down with Gligar. They throw the aerial ace, but this time I'm expecting them to throw the leaf blade. They do, and I'm thinking that this is they drain their energy. No baits this time. I am not baiting because if I bait and they call it, that is my lose coin. I need to shield this, hoping it's a thunderbolt. It is a thunderbolt. I'm gonna throw the surf because I want to try to get the shield, but they no shield. And because they no shield, they're not gonna make it to another thunderbolt. I'm gonna be able to hex them down, have a lot of energy for their Tropius, and they know that this point is over. They end up swapping out. You see Golisopod into our Dunsparce, which is really good for us, but they end up swapping out to their Diggersby. And I'm hoping I don't get a debuff here. I did want to bank a little bit of energy, but guess what? They get the debuff. So they don't have to shield this. They're going to farm up. They're going to throw another Scorching Sands. I'm like, no. And because I know that I can do 3 hexes before they get to the next one. I think it's 6, 6, 5, 6. So I'm actually able to throw in good timing, get that out of the way. But they're going to be able to farm us down with the Golisopod. And I need to shield this. It is the liquidation. I'm able to get this rock slide. Do they want to shield? They do want to shield. At this point, I go for the bad timing because I know that they would outpace me if I throw in good timing. See? If I would have thrown in good timing, they would have outpaced me. So I'm expecting this to be liquidation. I swap out. I need to shield this. Because I believe it's 665 for the I do believe it's 665 for the liquidation. This point, this is not looking too good for us. But I'm actually able to get to another dig on the Registeel. At this point, I need to get to the aerial ace. They CMP us. We lose CMP. Either I need to farm it down or I need to get to a move. And because we do get to a move, we're going to be able to take that game. Really bad looking game for us, but we end up winning somehow. As you guys can see, a lot of time I'm telling you. And now this is the final game, the final match of the set. I do go into my jealous scent. I didn't know who I wanted to go into. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball, seeing that they're staying in. They do end up shielding. I'm expecting this to be the Psychic and then to swap out. They do throw the Psychic. They do swap out. It's a Gligar. No wonder they didn't want to swap out. And now because I am so low, they can actually just go straight Aerial Ace. But here's the thing. I can shield this. And either they have to shield or they have to let go their Gligar. In this case, they end up shielding. I swap out back because the timers are misaligned. And because they are misaligned, their Medicham should be coming out any second here. And because I know that their Medicham is going to be coming out any second, I go for the extra and I go for the drill run. And because of that, I am actually able to make it to another drill run. I do throw in bad timing, but that's because I do want to get that move off just in case that counter was going to be enough to KO. So I did want to do that. And I'm expecting them to throw right away. They kind of do. Ice Punch. Now I'm going to go ahead and farm down completely. They come into a Jellicent. And I'm like, okay. But because we got those few wing attacks, I can get the dig off. I can shield this. I need this aerial ace to KO. Because if it doesn't, then we're in bad trouble. And because their Gligar is so low, and we have the health advantage, they already know this game is over for them, and we're going to be able to actually take that game. So, like I said, we go 5-0, 4-1, 4-1, 5-0. I do believe I could have went 20-0 with this team today, but because we made a few mistakes, we did end up losing 2 games. but that is fine with us. As you guys can see, we do make it back to the 22. So tomorrow I will be running this team on Twitch. Once again, if you do want to watch them happen in real time, link in the description. Go follow me on Twitch. But I hope you guys like the team. I will see you guys on the next video.